Greetings, BUSN 2340 Human Resource Management students. This is Dr. McGrory again, and I wanted to reach out to talk to you about Connect, which is where you will complete many of your required assignments and tests. So this video is for experienced as well as novice users. There's a couple things that you need to know to maximize your success, and things that I have found over the years have been pitfalls to students who don't know these things. So I like to call this the how-to and the proper view. So the first thing you want to do is you want to start off from the web address that I'm going to give you. Now I'm going to use a sample one in this video, but I will distribute to you probably via email as well as through PAWS, the specific web address for our class. And even if you're an experienced user and you already have a Connect username set up, you're going to need to use this specific web address. Of course, you also need to use this specific web address if you are brand new to Connect. Here's the reason why. The way that Connect works, when you log in to that specific website, it creates a connection between your username and that course. So in other words, it kind of makes you a student in that course. Now you don't have to worry about paying for anything because our course participates in DEI or inclusive access. It's gone by several different names. And so you purchased access when you enrolled in the course unless you specifically opted out, which I do not recommend, okay? Now I'm going to go over here to my browser because I've already taken just a demo, and as you can see, this says demo copy of our human resource management course because yours is not actually open quite yet. So when you arrive at this page, the first thing that you want to do is verify that you're at the correct course. Double check that I'm your instructor, double check the section because every web address is specific to a section, and just kind of give it, a little quick review. Then you want to start by, it says enter your email to join the class. You can enter whatever email address that you want. What I ask is that you use the first name and last name when you create your profile that aligns with whatever your name at the college is. That allows me to make that connection. It allows the publisher to make that connection to know that you're one of the registered students. So very important. Again, any email, but your first name and last name may have changed. People get married, people get divorced, people have name changes for a variety of reasons, but whatever is on file with Southwest, and you can change that with Southwest, you get with them, but whatever's on file with Southwest, that's what we need to be using here. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this out and log in, and I'm going to pause the video, and we'll be back in just a moment. So I created my username and I'm logging in, and I want to emphasize this. When you do that login process, make sure you continue all the way until you click on Go to Connect. Remember the name of this video is How to and the Proper View. Excuse me. Well, this is not the proper view. It says this is the to-do list, and it says there's no assignments due, and so we could just close up shop, right? Maybe it lists a couple things there, and so you feel that it is productive. And I do understand, that some students like this quick reference list. Here's the problem. I talk to students every semester who miss assignments because they are using this view. And if you're not understanding what's being hidden from you, then you're going to run into missed points and missed assignments. And I don't want that for you. I want you to see everything that you need to do in a really succinct way. So first of all, I'm going to emphasize that class schedule because that document is complete. It's got your PAWS assignments, it's got your Connect assignments. Everything is going to be right there on that schedule document that I've sent you, and that is always going to be available to you in PAWS. But even with that, which is kind of your primary source, I still don't like this because the better way to go into this, if you click on Menu, then you go to Classes. First of all, any class that you are using with Connect, you're going to see them all listed underneath Classes. You pick the class that you're interested in, and I'll point out this is me, Betty Baker. That's kind of my pretend student name when I'm just kind of demoing stuff. So I don't know, Anna Apple, Betty Baker, Carol Cookery or something like that. Anyway, I'm going to click on this demo course, which is ours. Now, let me tell you what was being hidden from you. First of all, some students do like to additionally have a printed book. So you got to have the ebook, you have to have this digital access. If you want to also rent a printed book, if you want to also purchase a printed book, you can. Here are links to that. Most students do not, so don't worry about that. Don't fret over it. And here we have this reading link. Now, by clicking this link, you can open your ebook and you can just simply read. And that's great. And some students really like to have that as a separate tab that's open, for example, during tests, maybe even quizzes. But most students just go straight into the assignment, which is known as a Learn Smart assignment. And that's one I really do want to spend a little time with. So we're going to talk about that. But all of that was hidden from you. Now, if I look over here, here's some other things that were hidden from you. If you are a novice user, or maybe you've used Connect, but every Connect content is different. The books provide different things, okay? So if you want to take some time to explore the resources that are available to you or the way that the assignments work, I've provided these publisher resources for you, and they're just orientation, in this case videos, and in this case about the Smart Book in particular. Also, as you scroll down, this is a folder, but there's no assignment in this folder. It's really here as a reminder to you. Remember, you've got some easy peasy points in pause where you can go take an attendance quiz. You've got 3 of those, 1, 2, 3. And so I'm trying to remind you of that. I'm even got a little note here, don't forget to post your introduction. Okay, so you would have missed all that. And I'm trying to remind you, I'm trying to be helpful. So I don't want you to miss this, these prompts for you because they're there to make you successful. Then I've got my Chapter 1 folder. So let me go ahead and jump into that. It says I have 3 items that I need to do here. So I'm going to click to expand. And I'm going to scroll up a little bit. Okay, so I see my due dates that I've got here. And I see even, when it opens, I've opened these a little early for the purpose of demonstrating this. And when are these assignments due? Well, they're due at 11:55. So not quite midnight, but right up there. So make sure you're pacing yourself for that. And I've got 3 assignments down here for Chapter 2, and I can expand that and see, it's the same pattern. And you'll get used to this pattern of assignments. But I want to talk to you about this Learn Smart. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click on this blue arrow. And that's how you open these assignments. Now, when I click on that, I get this tab that reminds me of some things. It says this is your Smart Book. So it's a Learn Smart Book assignment. It says I have 1 attempt. That's a little misleading because it's an attempt that continues until I either make 100 or until this due date and time. So let's talk about this due date and time. It says that this assignment is due August 30th, 11:55 p.m. But this is a way to read your book. And you're going to see it is your ebook. You can read it. All the pages are going to look just like a regular book, as if it was printed. But it is an assignment. It's a graded assignment. So there's a point and there's a due date. There's a cutoff. Well, we don't want to cut the book off. I mean, we want you to always be able to access the book when you need it. So here's how this works. You're going to be in here answering questions about the reading. And you can go in and out, and the goal is to answer all the questions, which is how you earn a perfect score. But at 11:55 and the slightest little bit after, you're no longer earning points. You might be reading, you might be actively answering questions, but when it goes past 11:55 p.m. on August 30th, that question is not adding points. It at that point is what they call recharge. You enter into recharge mode. Recharge is simply their way of saying you're recharging your brain, you're studying, you're improving your skills. So it will always be available for you to go in and out of, but you only earn points up until 11:55 p.m. on the due date. Alrighty? So let's click begin and I'll show you how this works. That's just a thing to keep in mind, but I tell you, if you start with these assignments, it's going to be such a great learning tool that it'll make your other assignments for this chapter go more quickly, in my opinion. So the first thing it says to me is, this is your due date. This is about how long it might take. That, some people it's going to take longer, some people it's not going to take as long. And these are the number of concepts that you're going to cover in the chapter reading. Okay, and we're going to talk more about that. Now it says, how do you want to get started? Do you want to start out by just simply reading a little bit? Or do you want to dive straight into the questions and let's try to earn some points and answer some questions? You can do either. And I understand that half of you are cheering for just, I need to read first, and the other half of you are cheering for, no, let's just answer questions, because answering questions is how you earn points. So we could do either. I'm going to start with the reading. For me, that gives me kind of a background. So this is, it opened up to page 4 of the book. If I go back just a little bit, it just kind of skipped past some of this early stuff. Now, as a teacher, I said, what do you mean you skipped past some of that early stuff? We've got to read from page 1, right? Well, this is the smart part of Smart Book. Do you see that on page 4, somebody's been highlighting in your book, in my book. How did this happen, right? Well, it is already telling me what I need to focus on, because what we all do, I'm no exception, we start to read, we skim, and our mind wanders. And we're not really paying attention anymore because we get kind of lulled into this place where we're not really present anymore, right? I'm going to go back. So the Smart Book knows that. So it's trying to focus your attention on the things that you really need to know. And one of the things that you really need to know is this definition of competitiveness. Now, here's the really smart part about this Smart Book. You're going to answer questions. And if you demonstrate that you know competitiveness and this definition, then this highlight will probably go away. Okay? Because why draw your attention to reading something that you already understand? If you already understand this concept, this paragraph, then let's not keep reading it, because it's not a smart book, Learn Smart. It's not a smart way to use your time. We want you to focus on learning the things that you don't know. All right. Isn't that cool? I told you this is a cool interactive tool, and it really is. Now, this is your book. You can go to the table of contents and go between, you've got all the chapters. If I scroll down, I mean, look at that, key terms. I mean, this is a great digital book, and you can certainly use it that way. But maybe after you've been reading for a little while, maybe you want to answer questions. Or maybe you don't want to read at all. You want to start answering questions. Find out what you know, what you don't know. Okay, no problem. Click on to questions. Here's my instruction. Make progress by completing concepts. It didn't say questions, it said concepts. We're going to talk about that. The number of questions will vary depending on your individual needs. So here's how this is different than a quiz. With a quiz, you answer the question. You have a quiz, it's 20 questions, you miss a question, and you just lose the point, right? And you don't get another chance. You either get the point or you lose the point. That's not true for Learn Smart. With the Learn Smart, you're going to be asked a question. If you answer the question correctly, that's great. We'll move on, mark that as done. If you answer the question incorrectly, then we need to ask another question on that, because we need to kind of explain what went wrong, help you understand that concept, and then ask you another question to see if the learning is occurring, right? It's okay to get a question wrong. You can still earn 100% if you complete all concepts by the due date, by that due date, okay? Submit your answers by selecting your confidence level, and this will not affect your grade. What it will do is allow you, as the student, to go in and look at reports. Because if you answer a question correctly, but you just guessed at it, and you have low confidence, then that might be an area where you need to study before the test. In the same way, if you're seeing a certain concept where you had high confidence, but you missed a lot of questions, again, there might be something that you're misunderstanding because you have high confidence, but it's the wrong answer. So you might need to review the book. You might need to ask me something, okay? So that's what this is saying. Got it. All right, so here's our first question. What is the term that describes a company's ability to maintain and gain market share in its industry? Well, is it human resource management? Is it strategic planning? Is it competitiveness? Is it revenue sharing? Well, I don't know the answer. Here's what you would do. You would read about the concept. Now, notice that it kind of moved down the page. It took me to a page and it scrolled down just a little bit because it's trying to tell me here's where the answer is. It's not even saying go look it up. It's taking you to the part in the book where the answer is. Well, human resource management refers to the policies, practices, and systems that influence employees' behaviors. It's telling me more about it. The strategy underlying these practices needs to be considered. Well, what do you think? Do you have the answer in your mind? Well, once you feel like you know that answer, you're going to go back to the questions. Okay, and it's reminding me because it thinks it's the first time that I'm here. So, okay, got it. And what do you think? You want to try strategic planning? Well, how confident are you? So I picked an answer. Are you high confident, medium confident, or low confident? Well, maybe this time I'm medium. Oh, I didn't quite get it right. I should have read a little bit more, right? Because I just kind of grabbed the highlights there. So what does it do? Well, it tells me that it's incorrect, shows me that this is the answer that I picked, and that's incorrect, and it tells me the correct answer. So you're studying, you're going, oh, the term that describes a company's ability to maintain and gain market share in its industry is actually competitiveness. You all were probably yelling that out there, okay? But now we see. Here's something else that we see. Across the top, remember we have 35 concepts, and that's what these little bars represent, and they're all unfilled right now. So when we answered this question incorrectly, we did not make progress on this bar. We didn't start to fill in these concepts. And in order to demonstrate mastery of these concepts, we have to answer 2 questions correctly on these concepts, okay? Okay, so I didn't get this one right. I still have an opportunity to make 100, so I'm going to go to the next question. Which HR function includes job orientation, skills training, and professional development? Well, do you know the answer? Do you feel strong about it? You want to guess? Why don't we pick training and development? And I don't know, we pick it, but if we feel like we're guessing, then we should say that we have low confidence. This obviously submits, and you're noticing that, right? Now, later on, if I look at a report, I might see that I got this one right, but my confidence was, not that good. So maybe I need to review this before the test. But I did get it correct. Yay! Shows me there's the correct answer, and it gives me, just like before, it reminds me that's the correct answer. Okay, and up here in my objectives, notice it's kind of filled in half of one of those bars because I have to answer 2 questions on that concept before it's going to mark that concept as complete. So awesome. I'm going to click on next. So now we have another question. A way to organize the HR function that includes centers of expertise, service centers, and business partners. Boy, that's a mouthful, isn't it? Well, I read the question, I think about the answers. If I need to, remember I can read about the concept, take me to that spot in the book. Now, this should point out also is different than down here. This, I can go ahead and click this. This simply takes me to the book. Okay, so I think this was the last place I had scrolled in the book was to page 8, and so it talks about the strategic role of HR function, and I can just simply read through the book. It's different than clicking on read about this concept. This is very specifically related to this question. Let's see where it takes me. Oh, do you see how it scrolled down the page a little bit? So, so the answer, I would want to read through here to find the answer. I'm going to go back to questions. And let's see. A way to organize the HR function that includes centers of expertise, service centers, and business partners is called a shared service model, outsourcing, self-service, or talent management. I'm going to choose talent management, and I'm going to say my confidence is high. Oh, and I was wrong. Well, if I'm wrong and I had high confidence, that tells me there's a misunderstanding, right? Look at this great explanation. It's not outsourcing because that refers to the practice of having another company provide it. It's not self-service because this refers to giving employees online access to information. It's not talent management because this refers to attracting, retaining, developing, and motivating highly skilled people. Well, what does that kind of tell us, right? It's starting to signal to us where that answer is. So I think this is a really awesome learning tool. I'm just going to kind of click one here and let me say hi. I didn't even read the question, but you start to see how you work through these assignments, right? So if I am missing, let me say this, if I am missing a lot of these, then perhaps what I want to do, how do I get out of here? Perhaps what I want to do now is to do a little bit more of the reading. Why is my reading button? I'm sorry. This is an updated, actually, for this course, this is a totally new book. Oh, okay, look at this. So I'm seeing a couple things for the first time, so we'll learn this together. Before moving on, you must review a resource for this question. Select a concept resource to continue. Read about the concept. Ah, okay. So look at this. This is new. This is a brand new feature. Awesome. I like this. Okay, so for HR to contribute to the business goals, there's increasing recognition that data must be used. So that's kind of cool. Okay. Just want to make sure evidence-based HR refers to the demonstration that HR practices have a positive. Okay, so I'm going to click to questions. I'm glad we're doing this together. How about that? And then I can click next question. So that is a brand new feature to me. I am so sorry, but that's cool that we learned that together. They're always working to improve this. New book, new edition of the book, and kind of a new interface to this Learn Smart. So this is kind of cool. Now you start to see a little bit of the variety. There's a few true false. There's, in this case, select all that apply. And so I'm going to just keep on working this until I answer 2 questions on all those concepts. Now, if you start to miss question, don't frustrate yourself, okay? Stop, take some time, and what I would suggest is that you read through one of the learning objectives. Now, this is how you're going to see this. I'm going to just advance here. And you can see, here I am on page 16, that kind of thing. But these learning objectives are very well labeled, and it says LO, learning objective, for chapter 1, and this happens to be learning objective number 8. So maybe I can just read until I get to learning objective number 9. Then stop and answer some questions, and look at all the yellow highlighting. So lots of important stuff in here. You see what I'm saying? So maybe just read one concept at a time. When you go into a chapter, and I'm in the Learn Smart assignment. Okay, remember, that's where I've come into this. Boy, chapter 1's a doozy. When you come in to the chapter, what you're going to see is these learning objectives. So one way that you could just do some reading is just click on that learning objective and read through. I'm just going to scroll down to demonstrate. You get to the bottom, you go to the next page. You get to the bottom of this. Maybe I just, I'm reading, and then I go to the next page. And I just want to point out there's all kinds of things that are highlighted. There's, references. There's all kinds of interactivity within this. But maybe I just keep on reading until I get to, oh goodness, I flew apparently through some of the objectives. But then I go and answer questions. Okay, you do not have to do this all in one sitting. You can stop at this point. I'm going to exit this assignment. And I can keep going in and out and continuing on those learning concepts until August the, oops, I'm sorry, until August the 30th at 11:55. Okay, so that's how the Learn Smart works. And I think this is very, let me tell you, it's time consuming and you want to set aside time to do it, but it is going to really build up your knowledge and it's going to make these other two activities go very quickly. Now, the test prep is a quiz and you're familiar with quizzes, so I'm not going to demonstrate that, but the one thing I will point out, and you know this from your syllabus, is look at the attempts. Oh goodness. And I see I have an error to fix there because it says 110 points, and that is probably more than I believe that the test preps are 20 points. Okay, so I see that I have an error there, so I'm going to fix that. I'm glad we're doing this together. I'm going to fix the point value on that test prep, but let me use this one now because I don't trust that other one. So it's 20 points and you have unlimited attempts. I only use your highest score. So don't be afraid to go back in and try that test prep again. And that is going to be just like your test. Okay, that pool of questions, you'll see different questions each time you do the test prep. That pool of questions is the same pool that's going to be used for the actual test. All right, so very good study tool. Then there's these application activities. Well, let's look at the application activity. When I go through this, 10 points, that seems reasonable. This one has only 3 attempts. So the syllabus is going to give you all this information. You're seeing some of it right here. And I'm going to begin and okay, it reminds me of the details. Now, each one of these application activities may have a slightly different application. There may be some drag and drop. I try to use videos when I can, but there are different types of activities. When you see this video, one of the things that I want you to notice is, see up here it says part 1 of 5. Well, that's kind of a cue to you to make sure that you look down here towards the bottom, because when you watch the video, you need to scroll down to answer the first question. I'm not going to read it, I'm just clicking that. But notice that if I come up here and click submit, I'm not done. It says you still have 4 more questions that you need to visit, need to complete. So visit the question map. I'm going to click on that. Now it's going to show me those other questions, and I'll just click on question 2. Now, this is weird to me because when I see question number 2, I don't see question number 2. I see the exact same video that was on this page as question number 1. Scroll down, the question is different, okay? So I can use next to go to question number 3. See the big 3? Again, it's the same video. Scroll down to answer that question. And you'll do that until you get to the end. You have your ebook link here that you can see and some references. But anytime if you submit and you're seeing that it's not done, visit that question map so that you can make sure to answer those other questions. Now, I'm just, for this example, going to go ahead and submit. And it tells me my score. Did not do too well. I got 2 out of 10 points. So I definitely, that was one of my attempts. I have 2 more attempts, and I definitely want to try to improve that score. So I'm going to click on Exit Now. Now, here's another benefit of coming into this. Remember I said Menu, Classes, and click on the course. Here's another benefit of doing that. Was that the chapter 1 or chapter 2? Oh, it's chapter 1. Look at this. See Report. What this does, no matter how many attempts, if I've done 2 of my attempts or all 3 of my attempts, I can click on See Report to go right back in. Now, here's the common error. Make sure you expand this so that you can see all your attempts. Okay, here's another common confusion. Yes, Connect is putting a score up here. This is going to be an average, but that's not what the syllabus says. I can see your individual scores, and I will use the highest score that you make. So when you get all 10 points, I'm not looking at that average. Your grades are going to be the ones I put into pause, and that's going to be your highest attempt, just as I tell you in the syllabus. Alrighty? So, this is about your success. It really is. That's why I'm showing you all this, because I want you to do well. I know you can do well if you know the tools. I mean, that's, somebody's got to tell you, and so hopefully this is doing that. So I'm going a little long here and I'm going to wrap up, but I do just want to point to one other thing. Remember that I said that there are reports that you as a student can look at. So you're going to see those under results, and you can click on that and go in and explore those. I think you'll learn a lot about what you understand and don't understand, things that you can look at. And it just helps you be more efficient in your studies. All right, so again, I clicked on menu, came to classes, picked on our course. Notice that also the 3 bars for menu is how you log out. And so I'm going to stop here and log out. Now, this from now on, if you like, you can just log in and out from any Connect screen and it will know who you are. But remember what I said the very first time, you have to start from that web address that I'm going to give you. So I hope this helps you, whether you're experienced or whether you're a new user to Connect, understand a little bit about the how-tos for our course in particular, and also to understand that proper view. Thank you, folks, and I'm looking forward to a good semester.